Hey there guys, and welcome to the live training. This is going to be a live masterclass and we're going to be talking about the power of groups. We're not going to be starting, we're going to have a couple of minutes yet before we get started to let people turn up. I said I wouldn't start till 8 p.m. or 3 p.m. EST. So I'm going to hang around till then and then we'll kick things off in just a couple of minutes time. But whilst you're waiting, make sure you say hello in the chat box. Just let me know that you can hear me okay, you can see the screen okay. And like I say, we'll kick things off in just a few minutes time. Hey, it's always good that people can hear me. That's always a good start. Like I say, guys, a couple more minutes and we'll get started. Just going to let people turn up. I don't want to start a bit too early because people might miss out. So we shouldn't be too long and we'll kick things off. Hey everyone, hey Tim, David, Ansley, how you all doing? I suppose I should say Happy New Year since I've not really spoke to many of you guys since I've been back. So Happy New Year to everyone who I haven't spoke to yet, who hasn't been on the masterclasses this week. Yeah, I'll say we'll kick things off in a couple of minutes time. Hey Tom, Ryan. So Paul's joining us, Ben's joining us, Amanda's joined us. I'm good, Ans, thank you very much. A little bit tired. It's getting on a little bit here in the UK. I've still got jet lag from being away over Christmas. Hey, Joe. Like I say, guys, just give on maybe a minute or so to turn up, and then we'll get started. Hey, Dan. I'll tell you what, whilst we're waiting, I'm just going to literally wait another 60 seconds, then we'll start going through all this stuff. But give me an idea if you're watching, just let me know if you're using groups at the moment or if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Just drop it in the comments, just say, yes, I'm using them. No, I'm not using them. I've no idea what you're on about, Ash. Or yes, I use them all the time. Just be cool to give me an idea of kind of how much you guys know about the groups. And like I said, we'll start breaking things down in the next minute or two. Hey, Amanda, it's like Joseph has just joined us as well. Oh, lots of people on, cool. Amanda's not using them. David, yes, using, cool. Nope, okay. Nope for Tim. Awesome. Well, we're going to have a big breakdown of groups, and hopefully, if you are using groups, you can learn something new today. Maybe you can teach me something, who knows? And also, if you are not using groups, hopefully you'll learn a lot and understand the power of this pretty amazing feature. So, yeah, hopefully you guys will make the most of this training session. Yes, it's great for your welcome pack. Starting to develop them, but not well or as well as I want to. Okay, cool. Happy days. All right, I think we've waited long enough. We will get started. Just as well, just reminding you guys, if you want to watch any of this back, it will be recorded. It's going to be inside the Facebook group, so you can watch it back whenever you want to. It'll be inside the video area, and of course, it'll be on the thread inside the group for a while as well. So we'll get a good idea of what everybody knows so far. Yeah, cool. We can sort them out, Tom, whenever you're ready. Awesome. Happy days. Okay, cool. So let's get started. First of all, I want to explain a little bit about what groups actually are. So a lot of people, when they first join PTD, have this idea that groups are like group training, like the stuff you do face-to-face with people inside the studio, and you maybe have 6 or 7 people all training at the same time. It's not really like that. A group, you can train multiple people at the same time. You can do that, and we will look at how to do that so you can have a bit of a group environment in the community and built up. But that's not really the idea of groups. The idea of groups in PTD, it allows you to set up a number of different things. So coaching items, programs, emails, in fact, pretty much anything you can set up for a client, you can set up inside a group. And what that allows you to do is copy that into a client's account. So instead of when you add a new client where you have to go in there and maybe set up the par queues, set up some results tracking for body weight, put in assessments, schedule out programs for them, you can actually do all that already inside a group and then just copy it in. Now, one of the most powerful things about groups is that not only can you just copy that information over, what you can also do is automate the delivery of that information using something called a pre-made package. And we're going to have a look at those as well. So that's basically what a group is. What I wanted to start off with is have a look at how just to set up a basic group. We'll set it up, we'll have a look around the group dashboard, look at what the different things are on there, and then we'll look at some different groups that I've already set up, talk about a technique called group stacking, which makes it very, very powerful, and then we'll look about how to use these with your clients and then how to automate the delivery of these groups to your clients as well. So we're going to cover quite a bit over this next hour. So as we're going through this, if you do have any questions or if I'm going too fast or you didn't hear something or you want me to go over something again, please do put it into the comments and I'll do my best to try and explain it better or show you it again. Or if you think I missed something or if you think you want to see something else, just again, let us know and I'll do my best to try and help out. So first of all, when we go into PT dashboard, we're going to go and add a group. There's 2 ways you can add a group. One is down here with the big green add a group button. And the other one is up here at the top where it says groups. Now, if we click on that one first, you'll see we have add a group, manage groups, message groups, and group search. We're going to focus on this first, which is add a group. So I'm just going to go and set a group up. So I'm going to click on this add a group button, and it's going to open up a little page where we can set up some groups in PTD. So once we get into here, we have a place where we can add our group name. So for this example, I'm just going to, in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Somebody put a post up in Facebook yesterday, Dan, who's watching, about a way of tracking meals and doing meal scoring. So basically scoring meals out of 1 to 10. So I'm actually going to use this example of a group to set up that now. So Dan, I think you're still watching. If you are still watching, this is how I would track the scores for meals or meal scoring, if you like. So let's go and call this group. Let's call this meal scoring. So we'll just put the name in there and then we would click add. And this would be our meal scoring group or whatever you want to call this group. Once you've created your group name, it will ask you if you want to go to your group dashboard. Just click OK, and it will take you through to your group dashboard. So once we get to this group dashboard, before we start setting stuff up, I'm going to give you a quick tour and show you what this is. So this will look very much like your client dashboard. So what you see when you're setting up stuff for your clients. The only major difference is the client information isn't here. This just tells you the number of members that are part of this group. And up here we have your client, your group name, and then some notes for that particular group. So remember, just like individual accounts, the notes here are not for your clients. No one can see them. It's just for you as a trainer so you can understand it all. Down this side here we have the group message center, which we'll look at later. Your place to add members, which we'll look at later again. Send login details allows you to send login details to all the members of this particular group. And if we click on more, we have a number of other options here where you can edit the name, copy groups, delete groups, export email addresses, which again we'll look at later, and also put all members online and put all members to print only. So you can already see just by the setup already that groups themselves can save you a lot of time. For example, if you wanted to move all your clients online that are currently offline, you could just add them all to one group and then move that entire group online. So there's already some really cool time-saving stuff here, and that's before we've done anything with these groups. But we will look at this in a bit more detail. So let's have a look at this meal scoring thing for Dan there. The way I would do this is in the tracking area. So I'm going to go to tracking. I'm going to go and turn on my results tracking sheet down here. So drop down menu, set status for new members on joining, and make sure it is activated. So whilst we're looking at this section here, you'll notice we have the ability to decide whether something is activating the tracking area for existing members. So that's people that's already in the group, and setting status for new members join the group. So That's one thing we can actually utilize in groups. And again, we'll do this a bit later on as we do stuff, is that you can actually decide on things you edit for current members of a group, but also for new members. So that doesn't mean new members have to have the same thing that current members do. So it gives you a lot of scope to do different things within inside these groups, but we will go into this in a bit more detail, don't worry. So I'm just going to activate this now so our clients, when they're part of this group, can see it. And I'm going to go now and set up some results tracking. So hopefully you already know how to do this. I'm just going to go and schedule this results tracking for these clients. So I'm going to pick days after joining. Now, whilst we're in this scheduling area, whenever you're scheduling something inside PTD, inside the groups, you have an option to do dates and you have an option to do days after joining. Now, if you're not used to using groups, you will probably always use date, and that's the only option you would see inside a client account. Days after joining only appears inside groups, and that basically means you can choose when to schedule something for a client, the number of days after they have joined that particular group. Now, that's not when they've joined the program, it's not when they've joined, signed up to your software, whatever it is, it's when you've added them to that group. So even if they've been a member with you for 3 or 4 months, if you add them after that 3 or 4 months, that will be day 0 and it'll move on from there. So that's what that means. So in this case, we're going to do some meal scoring. So I'm going to go day 1. I'm just going to put this down as like breakfast in the morning. And I'm going to repeat this every day for a week. But obviously you can do whatever you want here and just hit save. Whenever you hit save, it'll give you an option to update that information for your current members. Or if you don't want to do it for your current members, you want to do new members, you can actually untick that box. And it just means that it will not add that in for current members, you'll only do it for new members that sign up to your group. But again, we will look at how to use this properly a bit later on. So I'm just going to go and click OK. Now I'm going to go in and set up my tracking inside here. Again, this is exactly the same as what you would do in an individual account, so nothing new here. I'm going to go to add tracking, and I'm going to take this from my template because I've already made one already. I'm going to go meal scoring. And when you add anything to PTD, as you do when you do for your normal clients, and if you've watched Module 1 Masterclass as well, you'll notice that you have inactive, live on copy into clients, and set live to go date. In groups, you have a 4th option. And that 4th option, if you click on that, allows you to set live dates by days after joining. So very similar to scheduling, you can also drip feed content just like you would do for an individual client by days after joining as well. And you only get that option when you're inside a group. So let's just go and make this live on copy into clients, so it goes live straight away. And I'm going to go and click add. I'm going to click no thanks. And Dan, just say watching here because I've already set this up for you. All I've done here is set this up in results tracking, and in the tracking area, I've set up meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, and just put in 1 to 10 so they can score it. So when the client views that, they can just click 1, 5, 10. They can rate their meals as they go, and that'll give you that data over the week or month or year or however long you want to track. So hopefully that makes sense, Dan. If anyone's got any questions, by the way, about things like that, just drop them in the comments and I'll try and do my best to answer them as we go through. So that's basically how you set up a group. Super simple. You set up the group and you add in the content to it. Okay, makes sense, hopefully. So what can you put inside groups? Well, you could if you wanted to. If we go to our group list, so let's click on our group list and look at the list of groups that I've got on here. If you wanted to, you could create one group and put all the content inside that one group. I'm just quick looking at questions that's coming. That's great. Is there a way to progress the client's weight program inside PTD? There is. I can kind of show you. I'll show you a little bit when we set some workouts up in a way of doing it. You have to do it a little bit manually, but it doesn't take a lot of time. But I will show you how to do that a bit later on, Larry, when we get to the workout side inside groups. That's cool. So as I mentioned there, you could just set up one group and you could have all your program inside one group. So if I just scroll down here through my list of groups, just so you know, by the way, guys, I'm now in, if I click on the group section at the top, the manage group section. So I'm looking at all the groups I've got set up in here. If I scroll down here and go to one I've made earlier, and if I open up, let's say, this challenge, I'm going to click on that and click setup. This is just one single group. So one single group, and inside the single group, there's lots and lots of content. So if we look inside here, you'll see we have tracking setup, we have forms set up, we have coaching items, videos and PDFs set up, and some programs and stuff set up. That's all in one group. So if you wanted to, you could put everything in one group, drip feed it out like you would for an individual client, and then just add a client to that group. And we'll look at how to add clients to that in a bit. That's all well and good if that's the only thing you're offering. You don't want to tweak anything. It's a complete kind of automated program, kind of cookie clutter, if you like, and you're not going to do anything else with it. That would work okay, that would work fine. And of course, you can also put emails and stuff in there. We'll look at the group message sent in a bit more detail, but just to give you an idea, you could chuck it all, like I've done here, all the emails in one group as well. So you could do that if you wanted to. The problem is when it comes to coaching, if you put everything in one group, you are going to struggle to adapt and adjust. That means if you change one thing, you have to change everything, and it's really hard and awkward to adjust things for individual clients that way. So what we can do is use something called group stacking. Now, you may have heard people talk about this on the Facebook group before. You may have heard me and Tim mention it before. And if you've been on the masterclasses before, you'll have heard me talk about group stacking. And group stacking is the idea of having multiple groups that contain different content that you can add to a client. The reason that's really useful is because you can add as many groups to a client as you want. So a client can be part of one group, it could be part of 10 groups. It doesn't really matter. As far as your client's concerned, they will not know the difference. They'll just think it's one program. They won't see the fact they're part of 5 groups, 10 groups, 20 groups, whatever it is. This, though, gives you a lot of flexibility to adapt and adjust stuff. So if we look here, I've made quite a few of these already. I put some of them, we'll have a quick look through them. I put together some groups that I would normally set up. These are very similar to the groups that we may set up inside the Done For You packages. So I've put some of the content in here as well so you can have a look at it. And you'll see how I've broken them up. So we have, for example, lead magnet groups, welcome groups, results tracking groups, assessment groups, a challenge sign-up group, challenge groups, flagship groups. You might think, there's quite a lot of different groups there. You might be thinking that's a little bit too much. But let me break this down for you. Let me kind of show you what's in there and hopefully get an idea of why I've done this. So, for example, we could just start off with a lead magnet group. If I just go and set up and have a quick look inside this lead magnet group, you can see the different things that we put in. So in here, all I've done is put in a video series for a lead magnet. So if I go to my coaching area, you'll see we have some videos drip feeding out to our client, one every day so they get a new one. And also I put a little bit of tracking inside here as well, so making sure that they're actually checking in. So the check-in, so they watched that video, they've took the action that I've asked them to do, and they do that every single day. And also in that group, I put in some emails. So these are regular emails that go out every single day. These are emails that help upsell them into the main programs, into the paid programs. This is basically just a lead magnet group. So with this, a bit like that challenge group that I showed you, I would just chuck everything in, because realistic for a lead magnet, you're not going to be doing anything other than trying to get people to sign up. You're not really going to change much and do much in there. So I just have this lead magnet set up in there as one group. If we go back to our group list, we can have a look at our welcome group. So a welcome group, this is a bit like Ryan mentioned earlier inside the comments. If you saw, like, it was talking about a welcome pack. So there's a welcome pack already made up inside PT that you can use, or of course you can create your own welcome pack if you want to. What I like to do is set up a welcome group. Now in this welcome group, you may have things like a welcome email that goes out to them. And maybe a welcome video just saying, hey, welcome to your program, come to know you, that kind of thing. And I probably put a par Q&A and a form consent. I wouldn't put too much more other than that inside the welcome group. So you might be thinking, well, obviously I want to do assessments when I welcome them. I want to do things like results tracking when I welcome them. Well, I would recommend you actually put those in to a results tracking group. The reason is that gives you more flexibility if you want to change the tracking without affecting anything else. And it also gives you flexibility to add current clients to the results tracking without having to send them welcome information again, which looks a bit unprofessional if you do that. So if we have a look inside this results tracking group, there's a number of different things we can set up inside here. And all I would do really simply is add in something like in the tracking, I would switch on the progress photos and results tracking sheet, and I'd have some stuff set up inside there. I would also schedule that as well. So it goes out in the schedule to your client. So you'll see now I've flicked onto this schedule and you'll see there's nothing in there, but I've just told you I've actually scheduled stuff for this group. That's because we are looking at the dates. You'll see the dates at the top. If you click this little tab here, it will take you through to the show by days after joining. So it will show you what's being drip fed to the client the days after they join a particular group. And you'll see I've got the results tracking scheduled in. So they're going to get a reminder every week on the first day, 9 AM, and that will go out every single week for that client, and that will go out for a whole year because that's what I set it up for. You can set it up longer, you can set it up shorter, but that's what I've done inside there. I've also in here put in a couple of emails as well, just to remind them to go and do different things, but that's all I will literally put in here. And if I go back to that results tracking group, I would also put in information on how to complete the tracking. So there's no point just putting tracking there, not showing them how to do it. So if we go to the coaching area, you'll see I've got this how to take your weekly measurements document in here, which is just a text document I've written up that shows them how to do stuff inside that particular group. So if you're going to set up any groups to start off with, they're the two main ones I would definitely do. I'd definitely do a welcome group, and I would definitely go and do a results tracking group, and that's where I would start. But there are many other groups you can set up. For example, assessment groups. If you want to do assessments, just go and set up an assessment in there. So if they're your main ones, what about all the rest of these groups down here we're looking at? Well, this is where some of the automation comes into play, and this is where groups become very, very powerful. So for example, we have a challenge group set up here, and we have two challenge groups. We have a sign-up group and we have a challenge group. So for example, in the sign-up group, this basically means that, let's say a client comes to your website and you're selling a challenge, and you always want that challenge content to start on, say, a Monday. If you put all the welcome information inside one group and all the challenge contents of the workouts and videos, that kind of stuff, and let's say they sign up on a Wednesday, if they go for your website, they sign up, they will start on a Wednesday, or you'll have to manually add them on the Monday when you go in. It also means that if they do sign up, then they're not going to get any information when they first do it, because they're not going to get that information until you add them to on the Monday, or they're going to start too early. So by having two groups, what you can actually do is onboard them before starting the main program. So for example, they can sign up to a challenge on your website, and we'll look at the pre-made packages in a minute about how to set this up so it all automates. And then as soon as they sign up, in that challenge welcome group here that we're looking at the top, they will get an email through saying, welcome to the challenge, this is amazing, this is what we're going to do. Links to your Facebook group, tasks for them to do while they're waiting, a video of you being all hyped and excited. Just telling them, this is what's going to happen, and your challenge is going to start on Monday. And then in the challenge group, that is where you would put all your content, and you've just got to add your client to that group on the Monday. And again, I'm going to show you a bit later on with the pre-made packages how you can automate that process as well. So that means they can go to your website, they can sign up, they'll get all the welcome information for the first group, and then that challenge group will automatically be added to their account on the Monday, and all that content will go over, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But that's why we split those groups up there. You'll see us also come down, we have things like the flagship standard group and the flagship pro group. So this is just to try and give you an example of what you could do with your main programs. Let's say you have two versions. Maybe you have one program which is pretty standard, it's almost automated, you tweak a few things and workouts for them. And then let's say you have a pro version which maybe includes a weekly coaching call or a monthly coaching call or something like that. So this flagship standard group, inside here, I wouldn't put any content whatsoever. I'll actually create your content from some other groups that we're going to look at in a minute. And again, I'll show you why we do it that way. But this flagship group here is just basically designed for you to organize your clients. And that's another thing that groups are really useful for. It allows you to organize stuff very easily inside PTD. So for example, if you had 20 people sign up to your flagship standard program, where it says 0 here, that would then say 20. So it tells you how many clients you've got in that particular program at the time. If you come to this drop-down menu here, though, you can actually go into it and see different things. So you can look at the current members, click on that, and it will give you a list of all the current members that are particularly at the moment in that standard program or in that group. Same again, if you come down here, you can export email addresses from that group. So if you wanted to maybe set up a mail list on, say, MailChimp or AdWeber, you could export that as a CSV file, all the members from that group, and just put them in a particular list in your software. So again, you can do cool stuff like that. We will look at some of the more stuff in here a bit later on as well. But again, I don't always put content inside groups. Sometimes it is just there to organize stuff. With the flagship pro group, pretty much the same thing. I'd use it to organize stuff, but the only real difference in here is I would probably put an automated email in there that goes out, say, every week or every month. And I would put maybe a link to Calendly or Schedule Once or whatever schedule software you want to use into that email. So it automatically just goes out to them every single month. So it just makes it a little bit easier for you to organize stuff. You don't have to worry about sending stuff out to them. You can automate that entire process. As I mentioned up there, though, there's no content in these. So you might be thinking, where's that content come to from my flagship programs? Well, if we look down here, we can start splitting things up a little bit more. We can look at the workouts we may want to add into that flagship group. So here I've just got two examples. We have a beginner workout group and an advanced workout group. So let's have a quick look at these. And Larry, I will go back and look at progressing this a bit later on once we've set it up in a client. So yeah, I'm not forgetting you, don't worry. So if we go to setup, and we take a look at this beginner workout group. So as you can probably guess from the way we're doing things at the moment, this beginner workout group is pretty much just going to have workouts in there. And you'll be right. If I come down here and go to programs, you'll see we have some workouts set up inside here. I've just called these fat loss workouts, and you'll see we've got them drip feeding out to the client. So this is using that live feature for the groups. As you can see, we've got one that goes live straight away, another one that goes out in 4 weeks, and another one goes out in 8 weeks. Of course, you can have different programs in here, and also you can apply progressions to this as well if you wanted to. So again, we'll look at this in more detail a bit as well, Larry, as you said. But again, with these programs here, you can change them, adapt them, and have them drip feed out to them automatically for your clients. But you can also change things and adapt things for them individually as well if you wanted to. Also, Ansley, been sending the scheduled call message to all clients and confusing them. Yeah, I'll just automate the whole thing, Ansley, if you're doing that. Cool. So that's this one here. What I'd also do with this, and you'll notice that I haven't scheduled it. So these programs in this beginner one are not scheduled, there's drip feed out to them all the time. So you don't have to schedule workouts, as you know, from individual stuff. So if that's the case, and I want to try and automate this a little bit and save myself some time, how's my client going to know that those programs are there if I'm not scheduling it? Now, of course, they can just log in every day and have a look and go, oh, a new program's appeared, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take action on it. So what I'd also put in groups like this, especially if you're not scheduling it, is in the message center, I would set up maybe an in-app message or something like that to go out to that particular client. So you see, I've got some set up here that also go out at 4 weeks and 8 weeks, just telling the client that the workout's been added into their account. I'm just going to quickly show you something whilst I'm in here, though. This is an in-app message. So this is going to appear in the message area on the app or the message area when they log in through your website. If we go to this drop-down menu here and click View and Edit, you'll see the message that goes out. And of course, you can send images, you can send videos out as well if you want to. But at the top, you'll see we have two options. One is for individual group members and one is for group conversation. Now, we're going to look at this in a bit more detail later. However, all these ones here I've set up are for individual group members. The reason I've done that is because if you're doing workouts, you could be starting them on different days at different times of the year. You want that message to go out to every member that signs up to that group, but at the time that's relative to them, so it goes out at the right time. You also have something called group conversation. Now, if you also send a message out in a group conversation, you basically create a forum. And this kind of forum here is a bit like a Facebook message. So if you've got a Facebook message with 5 or 6 people in there, you can ask one question and every one of your clients can reply back to it, but they'll all see each other's messages and that kind of stuff in there. Now, we're all going to look at how we can use that a bit later. I just want to make sure that if you are setting this up or you're following through what we're doing now, that you actually put it on this option if you're doing something like this, because it'd be a bit weird if it goes out to everybody all the time. That's why I'm putting that out. But we'll look at how to use the group conversation in a bit more detail later. So that's the beginner one. What about the advanced one? Now, I've actually set the advanced one up a little bit different. I've actually scheduled this one. So I want to show you the scheduling of this. So if we go into the advanced workout group, click view and click setup. Again, Larry, this might be quite useful for you to see as well. It's a way of actually putting in progressions for a client up front if you can, so you can get an idea of maybe like progressing the client up front, and you can go and tweak this and stuff later for the client. So if we go inside here, we go to our programs, you'll see we have exactly the same workouts inside there, maybe a little bit more advanced if I was doing it, but obviously I've just copied this to put it in there for you guys to see. But I've actually also scheduled these. So if I go on schedule and click days after joining, you'll see we have the workouts scheduled in for the clients on day 1, day 3, and day 5. So this stuff goes out to them automatically, and they'll go in the schedule, so they'll see it, and they'll get a push notification through on the app. Or of course, they can just log in and see it, or you can send emails out to them, tell them it's there, just like we did for the other program. So that stuff is scheduled in. In the programs area with this, of course, you can go into your program itself. You can click scheduling and progressions, and you can actually go into each workout, just like you would do for an individual client, and add in progressions for that particular one. So let's say if day 1 of this workout was your standard one, you got them to work out what kind of weight they're lifting. If you want to kind of automate this a little bit, you could go into your progressions here. And then when you go to your exercises for that particular program, I'll just scroll down to some here. Let's say if you're doing, I don't know, probably not the best example for this, but let's say you want intensity, you could put like plus 10% from last week or something like that if you wanted to, or add 2 pounds from the last weight you've lifted, that kind of thing. You could actually add that kind of stuff into here if you wanted to, so your client knows, oh, I've got to add 2 pounds this week to what I lifted last week, and they'll obviously see their results from last week when they open it up in their app. That's the way of doing it if you want to automate it a little bit. But again, I will show you how to do this quickly for the individual client when we add them to these groups. Once you've made changes, just hit save, and that's all done. So you can see you can still schedule stuff and you can still have progressions in for an individual account and also for the groups as well. So already you can kind of see how we have like a flagship, standard group and a pro group, and then we can actually set up either beginner or advanced, and you can tweak stuff for them when you're doing that. Then, okay, that's workouts. And again, we'll look at this in a bit more detail, don't worry, Larry. What about nutrition and doing stuff like that? Well, you've got a couple of options for nutrition. We'll come back to this membership group in just a second. So obviously, most people tend to deliver nutrition in two different ways. One would be doing things like meal plans and that kind of thing, or recipe books, and others might be using things like habits. If, for example, you wanted to just do like some general nutrition with some meal plans and stuff like that, you could just go and set up a group, call it general nutrition, put in some recipe books in there, or you could just call it recipe books, and then you can drip feed those out to them, and it will all go out to them, every week, and they get new recipes and ideas. You could, if you wanted to, if you really wanted to spend time doing it, you could go and set up a group for, say, a 1,750 calorie meal plan for 4 weeks, drip feed it out to them. You could then do another group for 2,000, another group for 2,250, and so on. So it means you can then quickly adapt and change meal plans being drip fed to them over time if you wanted to. Now, generally speaking, most online trainers don't really use meal plans too much, mainly because one, it's usually outside the remit of most people. And also, generally speaking, we've tended to found, especially I've found this working with PTs over the past few years, that you actually get better adherence from using habits than what you do with meal plans. And 99% of the time, unless you're training athletes or people at the top end of the game, the general public don't particularly follow meal plans and adhere to it that well. So a lot of people don't always do that, but you can obviously do that, and you can make it a lot quicker and easier using multiple different groups. But what you can use is habits. So for example, I've set up a membership group. You could call this habit groups. If I hit this little drop down menu here and just click setup, inside here you could set up different habits for them. Now, I've not set up loads of habits in here. I've just set up a few for you to have a look at. You can, of course, set up 12 months worth if you wanted to. Like if we're doing this for the done for you clients, we'd set up 6, 7 months, if not more, of habit coaching for them. So if we go inside the coaching area, you'll see we have different habits drip feed out to them. I've just put a few up here to start off with. And again, you'll see it again. We have the drip feed set up using that live feature inside these groups. So things like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. These only appear in the client's accounts after that time once we've added them to this group. Same with the tracking. If we go to the tracking area and come down here, we can set up tracking for that particular one. We can actually go in there and we can add in the habit tracking for them. So we can go into here, we can click habits. We can say, did you drink your water? And then again, down here, you can set the live dates for that. So you can have it go live straight away, or you can pick it to go live in 2 weeks if it is 2 weeks time that it starts. So you can set all these different drip feeds up on here. I'm just going to set this one live straight away just to demonstrate it to you. And then, of course, you can schedule it in. So as I mentioned already, when you're scheduling this stuff in, whether it's a habit or whether it's anything else, you can actually choose whether you're going to do it by date or by days after joining. And you also have another option, which is on joining. So on joining basically means it will be added into the client's account at the time you add them to that particular group. So if they sign up at, say, 8 p.m., it'll be added at 8 p.m. If they sign up at 6 p.m., it'll be 6 p.m. and so on. If you go by days after joining, it'll be on that particular day. So for example, here we could do 1 day, and then we can just pick the time we want to track it, say if it's 9 p.m. And then we may want to track it every day for 2 weeks. We can just go 2 weeks and click add. And of course, we can set that up for all our different habits. So we could have one big group with all the habits, as long as you know what order you want to do them in, drip feeding out to them where they can actually check in and say, yes, they've done this habit, no, they haven't done this habit, or maybe they've missed a session or something like that. So you can see that it's all gone in by days and things like that in there. And that coaching tracking will then appear down here for them. And again, if it's drip fed, you'll see it down there as well, being 2 weeks after, 4 weeks after, 8 weeks after, and so on. So you could set all that up inside one group. And again, you could go to the message center and time some emails to go out with them as well, saying, hey, I've added a new habit to your particular program. So if you're going to set it up, you go to the message center. And all you would do when you're doing this is go for a new email. You would go at the top again. You see we've got the different ones here. We can go for schedule by days after joining. And let's say we wanted this to go out for our second habit. So maybe this is one that's 2 weeks time. We could select 2 weeks. We can say new habit. And then what we can do down here is write out our email. So we can put like, hey, and we can use these placeholders. Now, if we was to copy these and paste them into here, That means whenever this email goes out, whether you've got one member in this group or 1,000 members in this group, it would change that placeholder to their name. And that's exactly the same for the surname or the last name, the email address, the password, the login link, the Apple link, the Android link, and their daily schedule. These will automatically change into their relative placeholder names. So in any email that you set up inside the group, it's definitely a good idea to use these placeholders because it will personalize the email automatically to them. Really important to use that on things like the welcome group, so it's personalized, and pretty much use them everywhere across the group, so it is personalized every time it goes out. Once you've made changes up there, you can just hit complete and it will save. If you want an email to go out on joining, so let's say it's the welcome group and you wanted it to go out straight away for them, you could just click the on joining option and that email will literally go out as soon as they sign up to that particular program. And again, I'll show you some cool ways of using that in just a second. So that's all well and good. You know, you've got all your habits in your in one group that you live in as part of your flagship program. But what happens if you want to customize it a bit more? What happens if you're not sure what order you want to do your habits in? Well, what you can actually do is break down these habits. So if we come down to some other groups here, we have habit 1, habit 2. Now, this could be something like tracking your food. It could be eating more protein. It could be whatever you wanted to. What you can basically do is go into each group and set up any habit you want as one group. So let's take a look at habit 1. If we click the setup option, in here, you can go to your coaching, you can put in record what you eat, for example. And then in the tracking, you can switch on the food diary. And in the schedule, 5 days after joining you can schedule that out so it goes out every single day to them. If we look at, let's say, the other habit, so habit 2, you'll notice it's set up in exactly the same way. So I've not done it 2 weeks after, 8 weeks after, anything like that. What I've actually done is done it again at day 0. And that's because we can start stacking these groups to go live after each other when we set it up for our clients. So let's look at setup a habit 2, and I'll show you what I mean. So if we go to coaching here, you'll see now we have eat lean protein with a meal. If we go to tracking, you'll see we have tracking set up 1 day after joining. And if we go to the schedule, you'll see we have it set up in the schedule to track every single day from that habit down there for 2 weeks. And you do exactly the same setup for however many habits you want on your system. And like I say, we can stack these on top of each other so it can customize and change things very easily for your clients. So they're your main kind of coaching groups and stuff like that. There are some other groups I would definitely look into. Like I'll go into more details about these in just a second, but I would definitely put in a resale group. Now we're going to look at the preloaded client accounts very, very shortly. And this is what allows automation to happen. One of the really cool features inside the pre-made client accounts is if you add in a PayPal button, so they can take payment when they sign up, and they fill in the form and they go to make payment, and let's say their card fails, the payment fails, or maybe they change the mind at the last minute, or the computer crashes or something like that, then you risk losing a sale. But if you set up a resale group for that particular program, then you can actually capture them back again. The reason you capture them back again is because these pre-made packages, if you set them up, you've actually already got their email address before they make the payment, because they've signed the form first, then they make the payment. So what you can set up, which I'll show you how to do in a second, is if that payment fails, it will automatically create them as a print-only client, so it doesn't count towards your quota, they can't access anything, but you can also connect that to a group. So this resale group here, for example, if I go to the message center and open that up, you'll see I've actually set up a sequence of emails that goes out. One goes out on joining, like I mentioned earlier. So as soon as that payment fails or the computer crashes or whatever it is, they're going to get an email saying, did something go wrong? And inside here, it just basically has, there's something go wrong, notice you sign up to my program, blah, 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 blah. Here's a link or here's a number to call to get you started again, and then join your free Facebook group, that kind of thing. And then after that, we have another emails that go out 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days, just catching up with them. So if they don't sign up straight away, you can kind of follow up again automatically, follow up again automatically, and follow again automatically. And don't worry, I know what you're thinking. If they're in a group I've added to it and they sign up on the first email, it's not going to be that professional if they're getting these other emails after. Well, another thing you can do with the groups as well is, in the pre-made packages, is you can set it up so it stops those other emails from going out if they sign up. And I'll show you how to do that as well. So resale groups, very, very powerful if you're selling stuff through your website, especially using the premium packages and using the PayPal options in there. The other thing you may want to set up as well inside your groups is, if I come up here, And if I can find it, there it is all clients, past clients, and current clients. These are your mail groups. So you can put all your clients through here, which means every client that signs up, you can add to your client groups. That gives you a total list of all the clients you've got in your system, past and previous, and future clients, and everything. Basically, everyone that's currently been or has been a client of yours or currently is a client of yours can be in there, which means you can create an email list. You know, you can hit the drop-down menu, you can click go to message center and send a Merry Christmas out to everybody that signs up or has ever worked with you. You could also organize your clients. Remember we talked about the standard flagship groups to help organize clients a bit more. You can also organize clients between past client groups and current client groups, so you know who your current clients are and who your past clients are. And I'll show you how to move people around in groups in just a second. And again, you can send emails to them. So past client groups, you can have a message center here, which has follow-up emails already put in there, automatically going out to them. These, of course, will be print-only clients, but even if they're print-only clients, you can still send them emails as print-only clients. So you can try and bring them back into your programs again. So that's a lot of groups. I'm open for a lot of different groups there. Hopefully that will make sense. I want to start now showing you how to utilize these groups and use them with your clients. Now, of course, this is not an exhaustive list. You can add as many different groups as you like, break these down as much as you like. I just want to try and give you an idea of what you could set up if you wanted to inside here when you're doing it with your groups. So now we've got our group set up. Let's look at adding in some clients and look at group stacking in a bit more detail. So hopefully you know how to add in clients already. We're just going to go to our client bit at the top. I'm going to click add clients here. And we're going to set up our test client. So I'm just going to call this test. I'll just put in today's date, which is 08/01/19. And I'm going to call this test at 08/01/19.com, just like so. Again, fill the details like you normally do. I'm not going to go too much detail about this. If you're not sure what I'm doing here, definitely go and check out the Module 1 Masterclass. We're going into a lot of detail about setting content up for clients and adding new clients to it. One thing we don't talk about, though, is the groups down here. And this is what we're going to go and use now. We're going to start stacking up our groups for this particular client. So I'm going to show you how quick it is to get stuff set up. So let's say we click a little drop-down menu and we want to welcome our clients. So we're going to go welcome group. We want that one going out straight away. We also want to track results. So I want that going out straight away. And then maybe we want to put them on our pro group. So we want an email going out to them that has Calendly in there so they can book in, or maybe they're not doing that. Maybe they're just going to have you just adapting stuff for them and things like that. So we can add them into there. You could also, if you wanted to, think, all right, they're going to do some habits and things like that. So I could put them in this habit group here, the membership group, or I could put them in some of the different ones down here. I'm not going to do that now because we'll welcome them in. We don't really know what they want just yet. So I'm just going to use the welcome group results tracking group standard groups. I'm also going to add in that all clients group, so they're in there. And I'm also going to go and add in the current clients because they're a current client group. So it's just a way of organizing stuff. So already looking at those groups, we know the welcoming, we're going to do some results tracking. They're going to be in the flagship standards and they're in the all clients group, and they're in the current clients group as well. So we can manage all things a bit better. Once we've done all that, if we just click add, it will start copying over the content for that particular client. It'll ask if we want to send the login details. We don't want to send login details because we've already got them set up inside the welcome group. So I'm just going to hit cancel and click OK to go to that client dashboard. So now we're inside our client dashboard. If we have a look around and click on the groups button at the side, you'll see we've got a list of the groups that we've currently added in. So these are the groups that they're a part of. And of course, you can remove people from groups in here and add more groups in here, which we'll do in just a second. And if we come down here, you'll see if we go to the tracking, we have our tracking stuff switched on. If we go to there, you'll see, if I open it up, that we automatically have our results tracking in there. So our weekly tracking set up as well. If we go back to our client, you'll see our coaching area. We have how to take measurements, and we have my welcome video in there automatically put in. The forms are in there, so the informed consent and park is automatically in. The schedule setup, so we have results tracking, which will be starting tomorrow, so they can do that first thing in the morning. And the forms and stuff are all actually set up down here, ready to go with the video. And if we go to our message center as well, you'll see that automatically we have in our welcome email that has gone out to our client. Now, of course, this would have failed and not been sent because it's not a real email address, but you'll actually be able to see the sent item in here once it's been sent. But obviously, it can't do that because it's not a real email address. So we've got this set up in here. And if we go back to our client now, let's say they have, right, we've got all the information back. They filled in their forms, the questionnaires, okay, this client now wants to do some habit coaching with me, and they are a beginner. So all I do is go to groups. I then go on to add group. I click the drop down menu, and then I go, okay, what shall we do here? So they're going to do the habits. So I'm going to click my membership group, my habits group. Now I can just click add, and it would add that straight away into their account. Make sure this is ticked, click OK. And then if I click close and I go down here to coaching, you'll see all the habits are automatically in there. They're automatically going to drip feed out to that client as well. So you see the first one's now live, next one goes live on that date, and that date. So when we're setting this stuff up inside the groups, we had days and weeks and months after joining. Now it's actually automatically converted that into the dates that are relative to those weeks after they've joined. So we know they're going to start doing that. I can also do exactly the same thing with the workouts. I can go to groups, I can go to add group, I can come on here and I can go down to, let's say, beginner workout. I can then click add and click OK. And then guess what happens? All that content is now copied over into that client account straight away. And you'll see it's all drip feeding out to them. So these other two workouts aren't there for them. What's really cool now is if I wanted to, I could just click on this drop-down menu, click edit, and I can edit and change that workout. So I can go and adapt any variables, change anything I want to by clicking edit inside there. I can also change and add scheduling if I want to. I can add in any progressions if I want to. I can change what I want, and by changing for that individual, it will not affect the group at all. So once it's copied over, it's copied over. And that's the best way to think about when you're adding people to groups. What you're actually doing is copying content from a group into a client account. So anything you change in that client account will not affect the group or anyone else that is part of the group. Hopefully that makes sense in there. If we remove this group for the time being, let's say if we go on here and I go and remove this beginners group. So let's say we don't want this workout. Let's say, okay, I put beginners one in there. Maybe it's a bit too easy for them to report it back and think, okay, I want to make this a bit more advanced and I want to maybe schedule stuff for them. So I go into this group, I can click remove. If I tick this box, it will remove all the content from the group. If I untick that box, it will leave all the content in there, but it won't, it will remove them from the group. So if I add anything new to the groups in the future, it will not copy that information over. I'm going to tick that box for now, click OK, and then click close. And you'll see now all those programs have disappeared. I want to know if I go to groups, go add, I'm going to add in the advanced workout like that. So I want the advanced workout to start. Now, if I add that in, it will schedule it all in, copy everything over just like it does for everything else. But maybe I actually don't want them to start this particular workout until a particular date. Maybe I don't want them to start it until next week. So I can actually select the on date option here, click the dates and go, okay, I want to start this next Monday. So on the 14th, then click add, click OK. And you'll notice that nothing's actually been added into the program bit yet. But if I go up to the groups up here, scroll down, you'll see this group is going to be added on the 14th of January, so it's pending. So automatically that group will be added into their account on that particular day. And you can do that for anything. It doesn't have to be workouts. It can be for the habits. It can be for anything that you want to. So let's just close this one off here. So that's all well and good if you're adapting stuff, but what if you know the information beforehand, you know kind of stuff, what you want to do, what you want to give them for a new client. So let's go and set up another test client. So let's go to our clients up here. I'm going to go to add client. I'm going to go quickly set up another test client. So let's call this test. I'm going to call this 0801192. And we're going to call this test at 0801192.com. I'm going to go and add in our groups again. So welcome group is going to be added straight away. Results tracking group is going to be added straight away. And our all clients added straight away. And our current clients is going to be added straight away. Now you might be thinking, I've got to do that every single time I go in here. That's a bit awkward. What you can actually do though, if you look next to all these names here, is a little padlock. If you click that padlock, when you come into this next time, all those groups will automatically be there. So if you're always going to add clients to these groups, regardless when you're adding them manually, have that ticked and they'll always be there. So when you add a new client, those groups will always be there. You haven't got to get them from this drop-down list up here. So now we've got these main groups and stuff set up. What about setting content up and drip feeding it when we're setting up for this client? So I'm going to go on here and I'm going to think, all right, they're going to do a beginner's workout. So I'm going to click beginner's workout, but I don't want to start that beginner's workout until the first Monday. So if I click on day, I can actually choose the first day after today I want to do it. So today's obviously Tuesday. If I don't want to start the workouts till next Monday, I can just click Monday or Tuesday or Saturday or whatever I want to. I can just select the day and then click add. And you'll see now down here, beginner's workout won't start till Monday. If then I want to think about doing some habit coaching for them, so maybe I want to track their food, which is habit 1. So I'm going to click habit 1. I don't want to start that until probably Thursday, so give them time to fill some forms in. So I actually go and pick the date, click on date, pick the date, click add. You'll see it's got the date there. I want to do that for 2 weeks. So now what I do is click the drop down menu. I click habit 2. I go on to date and I think, okay, so 2 weeks from now, 17th, 24th, I want them to start that next habit on the 24th and click add. So it doesn't matter what order you put it in, you can change and move these habits around and set them up already from the start. So now if I go in here and click save, it will create our new client. I'm going to click cancel again because I don't want to send login details. And I'm just going to go yes to go to the dashboard. And let's go and look at their group stack now inside their account, or we set it up. So if we go to our groups now, you'll see we have the welcome group, results tracking group, all clients group, and current client groups already set up. So they have all the information they need, like this one did. But now we know that the beginner's workout is going to start on the first Monday. The first habit is going to go out on the 10th of Jan. And the second habit is going to go out on the 24th of Jan. And obviously anything else you've set up, maybe you set up 12 habits to go out to them every couple of weeks, you can set all those dates up from the start. It also means that if you want to change and adapt this stuff, you can easily do it. If you think, actually, I don't want to put habit 2 there, I want to put it at a later date, you can just remove it, click OK, and then just go and pick it again from the ads group, choose a different habit that you want to go and put in, select the date you want to put it in, and then just click add. And it's in like that, super simple. So you can change and move things around very, very quickly without having to set up all the tracking, all the coaching, all the PDFs and things like that. Super quick to adapt stuff for your clients. Very, very quick. Okay, cool. So what stuff we looked at already? We looked at using days after joining and days and dates for scheduling stuff for clients and setting stuff up manually. We've talked very much about manually doing things with these groups. What about automation? What about making things much quicker? So what we're going to do now is talk about how to automate this process that I've just looked at now. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be a fully automated program. You're not going to do anything. You can still coach things, but things like when people sign up to challenges, lead magnets, things like that, you don't want to be spending too much work adding them into the account, doing all that stuff I've just done there. So I'm going to show you how to speed this process up. We're going to go and set up some pre-made packages now. So in module 3 of the masterclass, we're going into a lot of detail about pre-made packages, and we look at all the different ones that are available. I'm going to quickly take you into there now. We're not going to go into too much detail, but I'm going to show you how to utilize the groups in them. So when you come to your homepage, if you click on pre-made packages down here, and again, this is quite advanced stuff, so I'll maybe practice using the groups, how I've just done there first, then move into this if you haven't. And what a pre-made package allows you to do is to create a form where we can put that onto your website where they can go and sign up and enter a particular program, lead magnet, challenge, whatever it is inside these pre-made packages. I'm going to basically use 2 options for this. I'm going to use something called a no payment option and a payment after signing up option. There's actually 4 different ways to set up pre-made packages, and I go into them in a lot more detail in the module 3 masterclass. But for what we're talking about today, we don't really go into too much detail. So I'd maybe go and check out module 3 or just check out some of the stuff in the help section about how to set things up for that. But this will be fine for what we're going to do today. It'll make a lot of sense. So we're going to go to add a package. And the first thing I'm actually going to go and set up in here is actually going to be our lead magnet. We set up a lead magnet group, so I want to get that all set up for them. So I'm going to call this 0.1 lead magnet. Can't even spell today. I'll just quickly take you through this. I'm not spending too much time on it. So in here, you can add all the groups, which we'll go to in a second. You can set remove groups, you can sell online, you can create vouchers, and there's some advanced options. We're going to ignore the create vouchers bit. We're not even going to look at the voucher stuff today because it's overcomplicated stuff and 99% of the time, you'll never ever use that feature. I've very rarely used it. I don't think I've ever used it once in the done for you stuff I've ever done either. There's not really a huge amount of need for it. So there are some places it fits in, but we're not going to talk about it today. So in the group section, we can now add in our group. So we're going to go and add in our lead magnet. We want our lead magnet to start straight away. As soon as someone signs up, we want to do it straight away. So I'm going to make sure this box is ticked. I'm going to click add, and that's added in the lead magnet from my drop-down menu. So there it is. It's going to go in immediately. It's going to copy all the information over to that particular client. I'm then going to go to my sell online option here. And you'll see at the top, we've got those 4 different versions: the with sign up form, the no payment, the use PayPal buttons, and the via P2D. We're going to ignore these 2 here. We're going to use these 2 at the front. And the one I'm going to select is no payment, because we don't actually want to take payment for a lead magnet. That's not the point of the lead magnet. So I'm just going to click the no payment option. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm actually going to select just male for now. It doesn't really matter whether you select male or female for this. Your client never sees this. It's only for your information. If you click not preset, then they have to select the one they want. But for lead magnet, they don't really be selecting that. You just want their details basically to sign up. So make it as simple as possible. I'm also going to remove the phone number field. Again, it's a lead magnet. People don't like giving out the phone numbers. Take it off so they can't see it. And then the last bit here, I'm actually going to untick this because we don't want the login details email to go out automatically. We've got one set up in our welcome group that goes out automatically, in our lead magnet group that goes out automatically. We don't want to confuse them. We'll leave it like that. So we're going to go up here. Once we've got that stuff set up, I'm going to go to my advanced options. And in my advanced options, I have the ability to set this up so the client goes offline after a certain amount of time. My lead magnet is set up to be a 5-day video course. So I'm actually going to give them 7 days a week to actually view all the content in there. Then it will automatically move them to print only. That means they're not able to access anything anymore, but I still can send them emails. So all those email sequences I've set up automatically will still go out to the client, but they can't access anything. So I'll switch that on, and I'm going to hit save, click OK. And I'm going to go back into my lead magnet, open it up, click view and edit, and go back to my sell online. And you'll see a lot of stuff's disappeared now. I'm going to go and click on the no payment option and scroll down. In this top box here, a new code has appeared. It's this code here you need to put on your website. So if you're, have a lead magnet on your website, you want to sign up, embed this code on your website, and the lead magnet will appear. I'm going to do a little shortcut here. I'm going to show you kind of what this will look like, just so you can have a quick look at it and see what the form's like. Obviously, this will be embedded on your website. They just ask for their name, last name, email address, and passwords. And that's it. They can create an account and access anything that's been set up. Of course, it won't look like this. It'll be on your website. It will look like the sign-up forms. It'll look like the client login and stuff that you've already set up before. But that's how that will work on there. So that's that one form already set up in there. So I'm just going to close that one off. So that is our lead magnet. What about the other ones that we want to go and set up now? So let's go and take a look at them. We'll just go and set up our challenge. So once we've gone for a lead magnet, we're going to bring our clients into maybe a challenge. You might not do, you might bring them straight into a flagship program, doesn't really matter. But let's say we're going to bring them into a challenge next. So I'm going to go add package. I'm going to call this 0.2 challenge. And this stuff I'm sure you'll really like. So we go back to our groups. We already know for our challenge that we want to add certain content for them. So we know that they're going to be the welcome group, so we want to welcome them into it. So add, that's going to add straight away. We want to do the results tracking group maybe, or maybe we want the results tracking to start on a particular day. So maybe we want it to start on, say, a Monday. So I can click that, or say Sunday, for example. Click on day, and I'll have that start on a Sunday, just like so. We can then go on here and I can select something like, let's go for the challenge sign up group. I want that to start off straight away. So if I click add, then the sign up group will start straight away for them to sign up to it. But then I don't actually want to start the content until the Monday, for example. The Monday is when that's going to start the program. So I can click on the challenge group here, click on day, and select the Monday, and have that all add on the Monday. So now if we look at this, we have the welcome group, we have the results tracking group, the sign up group all start immediately. Results tracking starts on the Sunday and the challenge group starts on the Monday. And that means automatically when someone fills in that form, joins this challenge, they'll get an email saying, hey, welcome to the program, all that kind of stuff, the PARQ forms, the consents. They'll get the challenge group, which will basically just have like an email message or a video saying, hey, welcome to the challenge, all that kind of stuff. And then the results tracking will start automatically on the Sunday, so they know to actually put the results in before they start the program. And then on the Monday, things like the workouts and other content for that challenge will start on them. So now that's all saved up, we go to advanced options again. We can go put offline. Let's say it is a, I don't know, 2-week challenge. Put it on for 2 weeks. And then what we need to do is go to our remove groups options next. So we've got our advanced options set up. We're just going to last 2 weeks. We've got our group set up to drip feed out to them. The problem is we've actually got our lead magnet in there as well. So maybe we don't want lots of content. I mean, if you think about it, if you've got that lead magnet with 5 videos, you've got your challenge, which might have another 5 videos, and then you've got your flagship program, which could be months long with loads of coaching items in there. That's a lot of coaching items to see in one go. So what we can actually do is set this up to remove groups when they sign up. So if we click the remove groups option, go to lead magnet and click add remove list, it adds in the lead magnet to remove it. So what will happen is when we really looked at manually doing this and we removed groups from the client account, PT will automatically do that. That does 2 things. It removes all that extra content from their account, which means it doesn't get all clogged up with extra content. But more importantly, in that lead magnet, we had 5 extra emails on top of those emails that are in the lead magnet. So the ones trying to help them buy into the program. If they purchase on like the second email, we don't want to keep sending them emails after. By doing this, it removes that email content and stops those emails and stuff from going out. So really, really powerful feature that. Again, we hit save once we're done. Oh, got to give it a name. I've just logged myself out of PTD, jumping around and copied stuff over. So give me 2 seconds. Try again. Yeah. Bear with me, guys. I've just logged myself out of PTD. I've got 2 PTD accounts open that doesn't really like that. So I'll only be 2 seconds logging myself back in, and we shall carry on doing that that challenge. 1 second. Super quick. And we'll quickly set that challenge back up. So I was copy and pasting stuff from my other PTD account. So we're going to go into set that challenge up. You can very quickly watch me do this again. I'll show you how quick it is to actually do. So challenge, groups, go onto here. We're going to go just challenge sign up group, and we'll go to our challenge group starting on the Monday. Move groups, lead magnet group, move from there. Sell online, it's a free challenge, so no payment. Advanced options, put online after 2 weeks, save. So you can see now, it was quite useful actually, got logged out then, because you actually see how quick it is. If someone said, I want to set a challenge up, you've got all those groups already pre-made, that's how quick it is to actually set up a challenge for that. So now I can go in here, click view and edit, go to sell online, go to the no payment option, copy that iframe, and I can paste that on my website on the challenge sales page, and people can sign up to the challenge. Super quick, super relatively easy to do, and pretty quick to go and set up. So that's that one done inside there. After our challenge, we then want to start looking at our flagship stuff. So let's do our flagship one. If we go to our add package, we go to our 0.3 and call this flagship. And then if we go to add groups, we can again go and add in things like the welcome group start immediately. We can add things like results tracking group, anything you basically want to add in, the flagship pro group, if that's what you want to do. If you want a flagship pro sign up, if you've got 2 different programs, you'd have different sign up groups for it. Again, just build this out however you want to build it out using your different groups. So for this one, I'm going to go for the standard group. I'm going to go for all clients. I'm going to go for current clients. And I'm also going to go for the beginner workout, which I'm going to go and start on the Monday. I'm going to go for the general membership nutrition. I'm also going to start on the Monday. The reason I'm putting these things in now, it means that if someone fills information in, they fill in the details, they fill in the forms and things like that. And let's say you maybe forget, you have a busy weekend or whatever to go and complete stuff for them. It means they're going to get some basic stuff. So they're going to get some basic habits to work on, and they might get some very basic, simple home workouts or beginner workouts that most people can kind of get away with doing. It means they're actually going to get some content automatically, and then you can go back in a bit later on and tweak it and change it if you need to. So it doesn't catch you off guard, so it saves you a lot of time. And of course, you can very easily remove this as well if you wanted to. So again, we're going to this, we go to our remove groups. We're going to make sure we remove our lead magnet, just in case they go straight to the lead magnet and not via the challenge. We're also going to remove things like our challenge sign-up group, and we'll also remove all the challenge group content as well. So that way we're getting rid of the old content and the old upsell emails and things that are going out. but it will go in there. We're going to do something slightly different now. So I'm going to go to my advanced options, and let's say this is a 12-week program. I could go on here and put 12 weeks in this. Or maybe you're doing a membership program. If you're doing a membership program, you go to this bit here, which is extend after subscription payment, where you can actually extend it, let's say, 1 month after every payment is made. So if they don't make a payment or payment skips, it will shut them off. So they can't get access to anything after a month of their last payment. And then PayPal will chase them up for the payment. And as soon as they make the payment again, it'll automatically start back up. So you can use that as well if you're using a membership. But again, we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in module 3 and about how to set all this stuff up properly. But for now, I'm just going to go for this 12-week one up here. We're going to go to sell online this time, but this time I'm going to use the sign up form. And what I'm actually going to do is go down here. I'm going to adjust everything again. I'm going to leave this not preset. I'm going to remove phone numbers because I don't particularly want phone numbers. I'm going to click login details enabled because we automatically send login details out anyway in our welcome group. Now, we have 2 boxes on this option. This box here allows us to put in a PayPal button. So I made one earlier inside PayPal, so I'm going to copy this up like so and paste it in this box here. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to select this option at the bottom here. So remember earlier we talked about this resell group that has these emails that helps bring people back in again. If I tick this box here, it means if somebody fills a form in but doesn't complete the payment, it captures their email address, automatically puts them as a print-only client and adds them to a group. We're going to add them to that resell group here. It means that those emails will automatically go out to them, bring them back into the program, and there'll be links inside there that bring them back to your sales page so they can sign up again. And basically just keep that circle going around. So now I hit save, click OK, and our flagship program is set up. And here you can see all the different groups in here. They're all set up for that particular client. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to copy a couple of these out here. And I'm going to show you the kind of process that we go through with this. So if I go to sell online and we go and sign up our client in this, I'm going to have to log back out to show you how this works, but we've got a bit of time, we'll do that. We go to our sign up form and I'm going to put a test client in, so I'm going to call it test. And test, I'm going to call this test at 9876.com and hope no one's used it. Password test, and create an account. Hopefully no one's used that password, that email address before. There we go. So after that, we can actually click login and it'll take the client straight to the login, but we're not going to bother doing that. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to go and reload my PTD, log myself back in, and we shall take a look at what's happened inside PTD. So now if we go in here and we type test, you'll see we have our new test client that's just signed up. And if we go into their account, you'll see they are now part of that lead magnet group. And in here, if we go, you'll see they've got all the tracking and stuff set up in there, all the videos. So there's the videos scheduled out for them. And there's the tracking for those videos scheduled out. If we go to coaching, you'll see it's all drip fed to them. So it appears on different dates automatically. The tracking and stuff, again, it's not live yet. It will switch on tomorrow, the day after, and the day after. So everything's already preset up for them inside there. And if I go to the message center, you'll see all the emails and stuff that are set up for them to go out for that particular lead magnet with all the dates and stuff where they're going to go out to them to try and upsell them into the main challenge program. So if I go now to my premium packages, go back to my challenge one, click view, and let's say we've upsold them now into my challenge. I'm going to go to my sell online and I'm just going to go and, again, a little cheeky way of taking this format, but obviously these forms will be on your website. So I'm going to try and remember what the password were and login details for this now. So we're going to go test, and it was test at 9876.com, I think. And the password was test, and the password was test. Hope this is the right password. If not, it'll be a bit of a pain. Please work. Yes. So now we're going to the challenge. As long as your client uses the same login details, as long as it's the same email address and password, it will update everything in their account automatically for them. So if we now go back to our PTD, I'll refresh this and log back in and we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully, fingers crossed this has worked. So I'm quickly rushing through this. I hope it's going to work. If we now go to our test client, click on test, it should, if we go on groups, yes, so it's removed, as you can see there, the lead magnet group, added in our sign up group for our challenge, and then our challenge group content is going to start on the first Monday automatically. So if I go to the coaching area, you'll see it's just organized everything, they've got everything set up for them in there. So when that new group gets added automatically, this stuff should come out for them. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's now go and have a look at our flagship one. So if we go to our home, and we go to our premium packages, and then we're going to look at the flagship one. Obviously, I'm not going to go and complete this flagship one because I have to go and pay myself, which would be very strange. But I want to show you what would happen if I go onto this bit here and then go to, in fact, before I do that, what I'm actually going to do is do a different client on this one. So I'm going to go onto this here. I'm going to go to my sell online. I'm going to use a different client for this one just to demonstrate it. So test1234.com. Test, and create an account. Oh, looks like someone's used that email address before, so let's do a different one. There we go. So on here, it comes to this PayPal bit, and this information comes through. And the problem is now at the moment is that it will say buy now, and I don't want to pay, or my card fails or something like that. So I close that off. And then if I go and refresh this on here, I'll log back in. Try and remember what email address I used for that one. What it will basically do is add us to this resell account, and that resell email will go out to them. And it'll, obviously this client's already pre-set up, so it won't happen. But what would basically go in then is it will make them print only, and it would automatically send out the email to them. So that will only really work if it's a current, not a current client, like an old client, and it will automatically send out that resell email for them to sign up after. So I hope that all makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to one of our original test clients. Try and show you how this all works. Let's go to test 2 and set up. So we've looked at the premium packages and how to set different things up for that, and how to set it up so you can do resells, sign people up automatically, that kind of thing. We've looked at how you can move groups around and adjust groups inside this section up here, so you can move different things around and set stuff up for them on different days. One thing I want to quickly show you, we've talked a lot about, is how to edit and change stuff for individual clients, for individual clients account. But one thing you want to do for everyone that's part of a particular group. So let's say we're looking around inside this group here, and I go onto the programs area, so I go coaching area, and I think, all right, I want to change something in the tracking group. So I can go on here and click on this bit here, and it'll take me straight through that to that particular group. When it takes me through to that group, it will tell me how many members I've got in that group here. I can view the different members. But then I can actually start changing stuff and doing things for them in here. So I can go into this and I can go, okay, I want to change the tracking for everyone inside this group. So I can go in here, click view and edit status, and I can change the tracking. And if I change the tracking inside this group here, like add a new tracking, for example, I can add that into everyone that's part of that group. So if I go in here, and I'll just call this test for now, and now make sure these boxes are ticked, it will update this for existing members of the group and current people that sign up to it. And I click OK to do that. If, however, I didn't want to change that for everyone who's already part of this group, I just want to do it for new people signing up, I can actually go to add tracking, call this test 2. But this time I can actually untick this top button here, and I can do this for anything inside the groups, and that will stop that information from going to existing members, and it'll only be updated for new members when I put it in. So you can see using groups, you can actually change things, adapt things across the board. You can do that with workouts, so change it for everybody that's part of that group, or you can just change it for new people signing up. Or you can just change it for people that are already part of the group and not for new people signing up. It's entirely up to you. It gives you the flexibility to do those 3 different options from within that group. The last thing I want to really talk to you about, though, is using the kind of group message center. So we talked about that first. If I go back to this results tracking group here, or let's go to our groups list. Let's say you've got people inside the challenge, and let's go to our challenge one. So go groups and these groups. If we look at our challenge, click on our challenge group, and let's say this had lots of different members inside there. We can go to our group message center, and I can go to message, and I can click the group conversation option, and I can type a message in here. I can complete that, and I can send it out on the scheduled date or straight away to all members of that group. So they'll all see that at the same time. So remember we talked about the individual one to start off with, which basically means that an individual client will see that message and it'll go out to all of them. This is one message that will go to all the clients at the same time, but within one message path, if that makes sense. A bit like Facebook Messenger if you have multiple people inside your message group. If I complete them, this will pop up and it will say there's a problem because group chat is not enabled for this group. So you need to enable the group chat. If I click OK and come down to the message box down here, you'll see we have a bunch of messages all set up inside here, but you'll also have a list of groups. And if we go down and look for our challenge group, which is somewhere around here, there it is, challenge group, we should have a little tick box there. If we tick that box and then close that off and then go back to our message and try again, it will send it out. And if we go on here, we'll see our challenge group at the top. We can click on that. We can see that message has gone out to everyone here, but it doesn't matter how many clients go onto it, all your clients will be able to see that. Any replies back that your client makes, they'll be able to see it on the thread. So you can have 3 or 4 people messaging back within the same thread. They can all see each other's messages, have a bit of a group chat, that kind of thing inside there. So you can use group chat within groups as well. Okay, cool. I think that is pretty much everything covered with groups. We've gone through a lot of stuff there, and there's a lot to take in, so feel free to go back and watch this as well. We talked about different sort of groups, talked about group stacking, we talked about how to use pre-made accounts to automate it, how to adapt and adjust things using groups as well. I know there's a lot to go in there. The best advice is, because it is a lot, don't go and do it all at once. So don't think, I'm going to do this, and this. What I try and do is, like I mentioned at the start off doing a welcome group, maybe some results tracking, and that's probably about it to start off with. Start off with doing that, have a go at using those groups to save up some time, adding clients manually. Once you've got used to that, start building up your groups. Work with your clients, work out what programs work well, what coaching items work well, and then use those that you've used for your clients, turn them into groups, and then start utilizing them for new clients. Once you get used to adding those in manually, then start looking at the pre-made packages, setting those up, and then putting them into your sales pages and stuff like that, and automating that process as well. That's probably my best advice. If you things are a lot to take in here, just take it step by step, just like you would do with your clients. Small steps regularly lead to the best results, and that's exactly the same with this. Small steps, work your way through this, and this should lead to some pretty great results. As always, guys, if you need any help whatsoever, feel free to tag me in. Any questions about what you're seeing today, if you watch it back, you've had time to absorb it all, pop the questions into the group. I'll do my best to try and answer them for you. And of course, if you need any extra help, there's obviously the Done For You service where we can help set all this stuff up for you and get it all done. And sneakily as well, there is a new version of the Done For You stuff coming out at the end of the month, which a lot of people have been asking for. I'm not going to delve too much into it at the moment. It's been requested a ridiculous amount of stuff by lots of different people. So hopefully you guys will really, really like it. But that's coming out at the end of the month. So has anybody got any questions? If they have, I'll be hanging around for about 5 minutes. Drop them into the chat box. But if not, thank you very, very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall speak to you all very, very soon. Okay, guys, cool. Looks like there's no questions. I'm glad so many people find it really, really useful. That is awesome. Again, any questions after you watched it back, just tag me in the group and let me know. And I shall speak to you soon. Cheers again and have a good one.